It was around 10 years ago, an editor friend of Naomi's called and said they had a script, and it was a boxing script about Chuck Wepner, and I guess really the only relation it had to me at that time was that I was a fan of boxing, and the character was large.
I play Linda Wepner, who's his third and final wife. They're still together 30 years on. And she's sort of really instrumental in the change that Chuck finally is open to making. And she's strong and sassy and full of spirit, and and she's not that much different than what Phyllis is saying all through their journey together, but it's just he's now open for that, and he's gone through enough of the ups and downs and realizes that the people and the circle he's mixing in is not the right one for him. And so they sort of bump into each other again after a long time, and he makes a better turn for his life.
I ran into him actually at TIFF. I met Liev at TIFF last year, and then we ran into each other at the Emmys, and he was like, I'm going to send you this script, and I was like, oh, thinking like it's like some small role that which I would have been awesome, but I thought that's what it was. It was this incredibly meaty, challenging, interesting, strong character, which I was just absolutely thrilled and flattered to sort of be thought of, and it's a film I'm very proud to be a part of, and to get to work with Liev and Philippe and has been incredible. The only bummer is I didn't get to work with Naomi because we don't cross paths.
I was a big fan of Chuck. I had known who he was, and I love his story. I love that not many people knew that he was the inspiration for Rocky and all of these aspects. But I think it was about 7 years later, after I had already done Ray Donovan, that I kind of really started to notice the cautionary tale about celebrity that was at the heart of this story. And then once I met Chuck and Philippe, I kind of felt like, yeah, we should really try to make this film.
Was Chuck very hands-on, like during the making of this movie?
He came on the set a few times, and once I think he wanted to give a pointer to Ron Perlman, who played his manager. But that was it. He trusted us, and he had fun coming on set, and I think it's tough to see your own life on the screen, and not all of it is glorious. For me to see him here with us this week, backing us, supporting us, and doing this with us, shows some kind of maturity.
He showed up on the day I had to fight the bear. He took it very seriously, and he was telling me how to fight the bear, because he'd fought a couple of bears. And I explained to him, I said, Chuck, I can't really fight the bear. He's like, huh? And I said, well, the insurance companies won't let me get in a boxing ring with a bear. And I just saw come over his face the realization that he wasn't going to see me fight a bear that day, and how disappointed he was. There's a work ethic with fighters that is really, really impressive. I think also there's an assumption about them that they come from violent upbringings or that they're filled with anger. And my experience knowing some professional fighters is they're much more like musicians, in that the really great ones have spent the better part of their youth in gyms training. So there's a certain childlike thing, and there's a certain energy, a sweetness, that I don't think people are aware of about these professional athletes. And I felt Chuck embodied that in a way that was really moving to me. Also, sports that are driven by pure heart. It's that what drives a human being to pass the point of another. Chuck has no business being in the ring with Muhammad Ali. No business at all. 40-1 underdog. He shouldn't have gotten past the third round. But something in his spirit, in his heart, drives him to finish that fight with some dignity. And I think that we all, as human beings, relate to that. The adversity, and how far are we willing to go to know something about ourselves. And I think that's part of what I love about boxing.